Picture ancient Babylon, its ziggurats rising under a blazing sun, a city of power, trade, and secrets. In the heart of the city stood a black stone pillar, covered in mysterious wedge-shaped marks, the law, visible to all but understood by few. This was no ordinary monument, it was believed to hold supernatural force. Obey, and you earned the gods' favor. Defy, and you risked a curse upon your family for generations. The stone was both a promise and a threat, a constant reminder that the gods' judgment was as unyielding as the rock itself. Today, we know this artifact as the Code of Hammurabi, one of humanity's earliest and most complete written legal codes. But its story is more than legal innovation. It's a tale of divine authority, brutal justice, and a lingering legend of a curse. Was it just a king's tool for control, or a channel for ancient power? The answer begins with Hammurabi, a ruler who claimed his authority came from the gods. His black stone was a declaration. These laws were eternal, binding heaven and earth in a pact of order and retribution. Hammurabi, king of Babylon, united warring city-states into an empire. But he needed more than armies to rule. He created a single code of 282 laws, carved into black diorite and placed in the temple of Marduk, Babylon's patron god. By displaying his laws in a sacred space, Hammurabi declared them divine commandments, not just royal decrees. At the top of the stele, a relief shows Hammurabi receiving authority from Shamash, the god of justice, a visual claim that the laws were heaven-sent. For Babylonians, these weren't just rules, they were spells, believed to hold real power. Words from the gods could heal, curse, or protect, and the code was seen as a magical artifact radiating celestial authority. To question the law was to challenge the gods themselves. The code promised protection for the just and damnation for the unjust. In ancient Babylon, law and the supernatural were inseparable. Hammurabi's code is infamous for lex talionis, the law of retaliation, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Unlike earlier codes that favored fines, Hammurabi's laws demanded literal, often brutal reciprocity. If you caused harm, you suffered the same fate, restoring cosmic balance through equal suffering. The gods themselves were believed to guarantee this retribution. Theft, for example, was punishable by death. Stealing from a burning house could mean being thrown into the fire. The code limited personal vengeance, channeling justice through the state instead of blood feuds. But this equality was an illusion. Punishments depended on your social status. The code's justice was harsh, but it was also a revolutionary attempt to create order in a chaotic world. Yet beneath its surface, the law was deeply unequal. The famous eye for an eye principle mostly protected Babylon's elite. Society was divided: nobles, awilum, commoners, mushkanum, and slaves, wardum. The law applied to all but not equally. Your class determined your fate. If a noble harmed another noble, he suffered the same injury. But if he harmed a commoner, he paid a fine. If a slave, he paid half the slave's value. The code reinforced social hierarchy, protecting the powerful and keeping lower classes in check. A commoner striking a noble faced brutal punishment, while a noble striking a commoner paid a fee. Even in medicine, class mattered. A surgeon who killed a noble lost his hands. If a slave died, the surgeon just replaced the slave. The code's justice was a tool for social control, not equality. It preserved the status quo, using divine authority to justify inequality. In Babylon, the value of a life depended on your place in society. Justice, as carved in stone, was anything but blind. At the end of Hammurabi's code, a series of curses threatened anyone who dared alter or deface the laws. Hammurabi invoked the wrath of the gods Anu Enlil Shamash, promising rebellion, famine, and oblivion to violators. For centuries, the stele stood in Babylon, a symbol of order and warning. In the 12th century BCE, the Elamites sacked Babylon and stole the stele, taking it to Susa as a trophy. Legend says the curse followed them soon after. The Elamite kingdom declined and vanished from history. The stele was hidden and forgotten for nearly 3,000 years, buried beneath Susa's ruins. In 1901, French archaeologists rediscovered it broken but mostly intact. Its laws, silent for millennia, were revealed to the world once more. Now displayed in the Louvre, the stone's rediscovery reignited old questions. Had its ancient curse been awakened? The voice of Hammurabi and his warning echoed into the modern age. Today, the Stele of Hammurabi stands in the Louvre, a cornerstone of legal history and a window into ancient Mesopotamia. Scholars see it as a pragmatic attempt to create order, but the whispers of its supernatural power persist. Some visitors report chills or unease near the stone, and local legends still warn of its lingering curse. Was the code just a set of rules, or did it tap into something deeper? A belief in law as a reflection of cosmic order. Its power lay in its claim to absolute divine truth, defining right and wrong with inescapable consequences. Whether seen as a cursed relic or a historical document, its impact is undeniable. The code marks humanity's first attempt to make justice permanent and universal. As we gaze at its ancient script, we must ask, do laws carved in stone still hold power, or do the fears and hopes they represent live on in us?